Good morning, good morning. Am I good? Can you hear me? Is it on? Can you hear me?
Mine is.
All right. Good morning, and Happy New Year. I'm Denise Smiler, Chair of the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board. I would like to ask everyone to please silence your cell phones and all electronic devices at this time. Before we begin today's meeting, I would like to introduce our newest board member, Maria Quinones Sanchez. Maria has been appointed by Governor Josh Shapiro and was sworn in on January 14th. Maria brings great experience with her to the board. She is a proven leader who has dedicated her 30-year career to public service in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Maria's public service career began as an aide in the office of Philadelphia Councilwoman Marion Tasco and included increasingly senior roles, including service as a deputy city commissioner and as the regional director for the Puerto Rico Federal Affairs Administration. Maria also helped form a statewide Latino coalition focused on training Latino candidates to run for office, lobby Congress to increase representation, and advocate for Latino issues. In 2007, Maria made history as the first Latina to be elected to Philadelphia City Council, representing the 7th Council District. While a member of City Council, she served as chair of the Council's Committee on Appropriations and Education, co-chaired the Council's Special Committee on Poverty Reduction and Prevention, and in 2021 was appointed to the Philadelphia Tax Reform Working Group. There is no doubt that Maria's extensive history and experience and knowledge and perspective will be a tremendous asset to this board. So please join me in welcoming Commissioner Quinones Sanchez. With 7 board members present this morning, I'd like to now call today's meeting to order. And I would note for the record that Commissioner Manzano Diaz is participating by telephone. Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning, Chair, and good morning, all. And I, too, would like to welcome the new Commissioner, Maria Quinones Sanchez. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. In addition to the 7 board members, we also have our ex officio members, George Augusto, representing Russell Redding, Secretary for the Department of Agriculture, Adria Zimmerman, representing Pat Brown, Secretary for the Department of Revenue, and Jennifer Langen, representing Stacy Garrity, State Treasurer. Thank you, ex officios, for joining us. As the first order of business, I'd like to ask everybody to please stand and join me in a recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. By way of announcements, the board held an executive session yesterday, Tuesday, February 3rd, to discuss personnel matters and to conduct quasi-judicial deliberations relating to matters coming before the board. Unfortunately, my second announcement is made with some sadness, as this will be Commissioner Dermody's last meeting with the board. Frank was first appointed, don't cry. Frank was first appointed to the board in February of 2021 and served as a great asset to this body for the past 5 years. As I'm sure many of you are aware, prior to Frank's service with the board, he was a member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives for 29 years, including serving 10 years as the House Democratic leader. In that time, he played a major role in shepherding the Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act through the General Assembly, and his knowledge of the legislative intent for many of its provisions has been invaluable to the board on numerous occasions. I can personally attest to Frank's incredible acumen as the House leader. In the face of adversity and sometimes extremely difficult circumstances, Frank managed to keep his caucus united. Under Frank's leadership, his members took the high road and supported legislation that was in the best interest of their constituents. I think I speak for the entire board, Frank, when I say that you will surely be missed, not just for your knowledge, but for your common sense approach, your decency, and especially for your sense of humor. We do have a resolution prepared to honor Commissioner Dermody's service, but before I ask for a motion to adopt that resolution, I wanted to give any of my fellow board members an opportunity to say a few words, if they so choose. Commissioner Dillon.
Frank, it's been an honor. I heard stories about you down in Philly and, heard of the legend of Frank Dermody, and I actually had the pleasure of coming up here and working with you. Wish you nothing but the best, pal. Stay in contact.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. That's nice.
Commissioner Manzano Diaz, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. Frank, I'm sorry I'm not there to be with you on your last day, but let me just say that it has been such an honor and a privilege to work with you. You are a class act, and you have brought so much positive energy to this board, and I want to thank you for being such a great colleague and friend.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, would anyone else like to say a few? Okay. Commissioner Dunbar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Frank, it's been a pleasure. Honest, fair, hardworking, something that is definitely in short supply up here sometimes. And I've not only the last year here with Frank, but 10 years prior in the House, we served together on opposite sides of the aisle. And I could honestly say, honest, fair, hardworking, from someone across the other side of the aisle. It's always been a pleasure. We'll miss you.
Thank you, George.
Okay, as I mentioned, we have a resolution commemorating your service to the board. I'm not going to read it, rather I'd simply call for a motion on the resolution for Commissioner Dermody.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the resolution recognizing the service of Frank Dermody to the board.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted. Commissioner Dermody, would you like to say a few words?
I would, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Please,
And-
please proceed.
Well, thank you. And I just want to thank everybody on the board, obviously, and you, Madam Chair, for your leadership. And all of you, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be working with you for these last 5 years. And I want to thank the staff, too, because you've done a great job. You've always treated me with dignity and respect, and you've done a tremendous job, and I appreciate that and appreciate you. And just thank all of you. It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve with you, and I'm sure you'll do a great job. Good luck. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, you will be sorely missed. You're one of my favorite people. So,
Likewise. Well, yeah, we've had some fun over the years. Yes,
yep, going back to 2015.
that's right. But yeah, George, you're right. I mean, we worked together in the House, but we're on both, not the same side of the aisle, but we also worked to make sure we could run the state. And I appreciate working with you there and here. Thank you. Work with all of you. Thanks.
Okay, with that, we will proceed with the agenda. I would like to now ask for approval of the board meeting transcript and minutes from the October 22nd, 2025 meeting.
Is that me?
That's you.
Okay. Commissioner Dermody moves that the board approve the minutes and transcript of the October 22nd, 2025 meeting.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I would now like to ask for approval of the board meeting and transcript and minutes from the November 19th, 2025 meeting.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the minutes and transcript of the November 19th, 2025 meeting.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted. We will now hear from our Executive Director, Kevin O'Toole. Kevin?
Good morning, Chair Smiler. Good morning, members of the board. Before I begin my report this morning, on behalf of myself and the staff, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Maria Canones Sanchez to the Gaming Control Board. We look forward to working with you, Maria. For my report this morning, I would like to comment once again on the continued growth of gaming revenue, but also add how that growth benefits the local share assessment program. The month of December 2025 ended with continued positive growth in gaming revenue from all sources regulated by the Gaming Control Board. Revenue generated in December 2025 totaled over $616 million, which was 15.76% higher than the revenue generated in December of 2024. Slot revenue at the 17 land-based casinos declined 7.54% over the previous year. Table game revenue had a slight increase of 0.28% over the previous year. However, given the fact that there were 5 snow days this past December, these revenue figures for slots and tables are better than they appear. Total gaming tax revenue generated collectively through all forms of gaming and fantasy sports contests exceeded $255 million during December of 2025. Also, for the entire year of 2025, gaming revenue totaled almost $6.8 billion, and the gaming tax revenue totaled almost $3 billion. This was the 5th consecutive year that gaming revenue showed a significant increase over the prior year. This outstanding record of increasing gaming revenue month over month by the land-based casinos and the online casino operators also means increased funding for local municipalities and counties through the Local Share Assessment Program. The Local Share Assessment Program assesses a 2% gaming tax on all of the entities, both online and land-based. So they participate, the online participates significantly in the funding of local share assessments. More than $50 million of grants were awarded to Pennsylvania local municipalities and counties in 2025 using local share assessment funds. Very few illustrations of grants that were funded recently includes the following. In Lebanon County, new fire department equipment was purchased with LSA funds. In Swatara Township, LSA funds were used to replace a quick response service vehicle for the Buhner Hill Fire Company. In fact, whether we're talking about voluntary fire departments or career fire departments, local share grants assist tremendously all fire departments with the ability to acquire the newest and best equipment in a very important profession. In Westmoreland County, a grant was awarded to the city of Greensburg to repair the Robert A. Bell parking garage. This garage is a 4-floor structure with over 400 available parking spots. Also in Westmoreland County, an allocation of LSA funds will be used to purchase a distribution truck for the county food bank. So those are just a very few illustrations of the value of the local share assessment. So Pennsylvania's gaming industry continues to deliver economic benefits from the casino operators beyond the creation of jobs and economic development. Through the local share assessment, tax dollars are reinvested locally and statewide to support safety, infrastructure, and community services. Before I close, on behalf of myself and the staff, I would also like to thank Commissioner Frank Dermody for his outstanding contribution to the Gaming Control Board for the past 5 years. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's my report for today, Chair.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we will hear from the Director of Budget, David Wren.
Good morning, Chair Smiler and board members. I'm here today to present a report of expenditures for the first half of the fiscal year through December 31st. Board expenses for the first half of the fiscal year were $26,496,000, comprising $23,645,000 in personnel expenses and $2,851,000 in operating expenses. Compared to the prior year, personnel expenses increased by $1.1 million, while operating expenses decreased by $298,000 due to timing differences in processing invoices. Overall expenses for the first half of the year were up $819,000 or 3.2%. Payroll costs of $23.6 million included salary costs of $14.1 million and benefit costs of $9.5 million. The increase in personnel expenses is primarily attributed to an increase in the employee count and union negotiated raises. Operating expenses through December totaled $2.9 million. The largest operating costs included $1.3 million for services, including IT consulting expenses related to IT modernization projects and interagency billings, $696,000 for rentals and leases, and $580,000 for other operating expenses, which primarily includes investigative database services and directors and officers insurance. Overall expenditure trends for the first half of the fiscal year indicate alignment with our expectations. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Now we will hear from our Human Resources Director, Heidi Zula. Heidi?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. The Office of Human Resources has one motion for your consideration today relative to the ratification of the hiring of 5 individuals. Each individual was approved for hire by the Executive Director and Personnel Committee after having completed the background investigation and drug screening. As a result, each individual was offered and accepted employment with the board between public meetings. The 5 individuals recommended are Bradley Gorder as an Assistant Chief Counsel 3 within the Office of Chief Counsel, David Semino as an Assistant Enforcement Counsel 1 within the Office of Enforcement Counsel, Kyle Chashinsky and Victoria DeBernardis as Compliance Examiners in the Bureau of Gaming Operations, and Edward Wenshoff as a Technical Field Representative at Happy Valley Casino within the Bureau of Casino Compliance. Unless you have any questions, I ask that the board consider a motion to ratify the hiring of these individuals.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the ratification of employment offers to the applicants for hire as proposed by the Human Resources Director.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Next is our Office of Chief Counsel.
Morning. Our first agenda item relates to final omitted rulemaking, which Senior Counsel Robert Wood will present.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This morning, I have the one item for the board's consideration, that being final omitted rulemaking number 125-259. The updates of this final omitted rulemaking ensure that the board's regulation, especially those referencing federal tax policies, remain consistent with federal tax rules and policies issued by the Internal Revenue Service. This matter is appropriate for final omitted for the final omitted rulemaking process, as public comments are not necessary for the regulatory revisions within this package, as it seeks to maintain parity that previously existed. Maintenance of non-conflict of laws remains in the public interest, and this rulemaking ensures that we continue to not conflict with the federal government on their tax policy. Finally, those who are most affected by this, that being the regulated industry, have received notice from us of our interpretation of our regulation being in parity with the W2G standard, and this regulatory revision, again, maintains that standard. Prior to this morning's meeting, a copy of these rulemaking materials were provided to the board. If there are any questions, I am happy to address them this morning, but if not, I would ask a motion to approve final omitted rulemaking number 125-259.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board adopt final omitted rulemaking number 125 through 259 regarding the slot jackpot regulation update linked to the IRS W2G threshold as described by the Office of Chief Counsel.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Today, we have one petition before the board, a request from an individual to be removed from the self-exclusion list. This matter will be heard on the documents as the Office of Enforcement Counsel does not object to the requested relief. The board has, in advance of this meeting, been provided with all the documents filed of record prior to today. By way of background, an individual with the initials DR placed herself on the self-exclusion list on September 27th, 2015, choosing the lifetime self-exclusion option. On October 31st, 2025, DR filed her request for removal from the list, stating that when she self-excluded, it was not due to a gambling problem, but due to a stressful job causing her to overindulge, and that she's now capable of being a responsible recreational gambler. DR submitted the required problem gambling assessment verification form signed by a certified assessment provider, indicating that an assessment of DR was performed and that problem gambling treatment was not recommended. As I indicated, the Office of Enforcement Counsel filed an answer stating it has no objections to DR's request, as it has been over 10 years since her placement on the list. She has submitted all the required documentation and has had known violations of her self-exclusion, and this matter is now ready for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board grant DR's petition for removal from the casino self-exclusion list as described by the Office of Chief Counsel.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
The next matter before the board today pertains to several unopposed petitions to withdraw the applications or surrender the credentials of the following individuals and entities: Robert Gay Sheen, Brian Chang, Duke Merger Sub, Inc., Gulf Merger Sub, Inc., Michael Daly, Pierre Raoul Descartier de Merchien, Boxview Limited, Massive Trust, Bingo Merger Sub, Inc., Rachel Barber, Thomas Gray, Alexander Gonthier, John Gibson, Asaf Einat, Lionel Shipper, James Holmes, and Jeffrey Quicksilver. The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection by way of these withdrawals or surrenders. As a result, if the board grants same, they'd be doing so without prejudice to each of these parties. And this matter is now ready for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board issue orders to approve the withdrawals and surrenders as described by the Office of Chief Counsel.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next before the board for consideration are 9 reports and recommendations received from the Office of Hearings and Appeals. These reports and recommendations, along with the evidentiary record for each hearing, have been provided to the board in advance of this meeting. Additionally, the persons involved have each been notified that the board will be considering their matter today, and that they have the ability to come forward and briefly address the board. If any of these persons are present and would like to address the board, they should come forward when their name is called. The first report and recommendation before the board today pertains to Drayvon Darby. In February of 2025, Mr. Darby submitted his application for a non-gaming employee registration to work as an EVS attendant at Rivers Philadelphia Casino. On April 29th, 2025, the Office of Enforcement Counsel issued a notice of recommendation of denial of Mr. Darby's application based upon a 2024 theft charge in New Jersey. A hearing in this matter was held on October 23rd, 2025. The Office of Enforcement Counsel appeared, offering evidence, both testimonial and documentary. Mr. Darby also appeared and testified on his own behalf. The evidence and testimony presented at the hearing showed that Mr. Darby had failed to disclose his arrest on his application, and during the board's background investigation of Mr. Darby, it was discovered that he'd been charged after allegedly stealing 9 Apple Watches while working at an Amazon distribution center. After being questioned by BIE about his arrest, Mr. Darby amended his application to include the theft charge, stating that someone had framed him for placing the merchandise in his backpack. Mr. Darby had worked at Amazon for between 7 and 8 years without any problems prior to this theft. Notwithstanding the statements made on his amended application, during Mr. Darby's testimony at the hearing in this matter, he took full responsibility for the theft, stating it was stupid and that he had never been in trouble with law before, had never been terminated before, regrets his actions, and he apologized for his behavior. He further stated that he's a good person and a hard worker, yet understands why someone would be leery of hiring him with the theft charges pending against him. Following the hearing, report and recommendation was issued recommending that Mr. Darby's non-gaming employer registration application be denied, and this matter is now ready for board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board adopt the report and recommendations issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and that Drayvon Darby's non-gaming employee registration application be denied.
Commissioner Dermody, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next before the board is Jessica Showalter's report and recommendation. In February of 2025, Ms. Showalter submitted her application for a video gaming terminal and gaming employee occupation permit. In May of 2025, the Office of Enforcement Counsel issued a notice recommending denial of Ms. Showalter's application based upon her criminal record. A hearing in this matter was held on October 1st, 2025. OEC appeared offering testimonial and documentary evidence. Ms. Showalter also appeared and testified on her own behalf. The evidence and testimony presented at the hearing showed that between 2017 and 2022, Ms. Showalter had been charged with drug-related offenses, misdemeanor harassment, resisting arrest, false reports to law enforcement, criminal attempt to escape, and felony insurance fraud. Ms. Showalter testified that she was addicted to drugs between 2016 and 2023, and that is when all of her criminal conduct occurred. She stated during her testimony that she has now completed both inpatient and outpatient drug treatment program and attends Narcotics Anonymous on a regular basis. She further testified that she is approaching and actually has now reached her 3 years of sobriety and put into the record her chip for that accomplishment. Ms. Showalter has 3 children for which she lost custody during her drug addiction and criminal behavior, but has since regained custody of 2 of those children. She is currently working for Rudders and has been offered an assistant manager position, which requires that she hold a VGT permit. After hearing all of the evidence presented, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that Ms. Showalter's application be granted, or in the alternative, allow her to reapply after 1 year has elapsed from the board denial of her application. The Office of Enforcement Counsel filed exceptions to that report and recommendation, arguing that it was not appropriate given the recency of her criminal conduct. Before the board votes on this matter today, however, as previously approved by the chair, I'd like to read into the record a letter received from Ms. Showalter that she has requested be read into the record. To whom it may concern, hello, my name is Jessica Marie Showalter. I am scheduled to meet with the board on January 28th, 2026, the rescheduled meeting, concerning my video gaming terminal permit. I'm unable to attend in person due to caring for my sister, who is paralyzed and needs 24/7 care. As I understand completely the concerns of the Office of Enforcement Counsel, but as of 3 years ago, on January 9th, 2023, I started my journey into recovery and actually picked up my 3-year coin on January 14th, 2026. I was in active addiction for about 8 to 9 years, and I have made a lot of mistakes during that time, which I hold myself accountable for. My felony charge happened during my active addiction in 2022. However, I did not plead guilty to it until February of 2024. I received 2 years of probation with no jail time due to all of the strides I have made since being released from rehabilitation in 2023, and I have not had any trouble since getting sober. I now hold primary custody of my 2 sons, as well as a sister who is completely paralyzed from the neck down, for whom I care at home. I stay involved in Narcotics Anonymous, and I also have a sponsor I am in contact with frequently. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. I'm making every strive to better myself every single day. I, Jessica Showalter, respectfully ask the board to approve my permit so I can continue bettering my children and my own life. Your time today has been greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Jessica Showalter. This matter is now ready for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board adopt the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearing and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and that Jessica Showalter's VGT employee permit application be granted, subject to the special condition which will be outlined in the board's order.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Emma Dirk's report and recommendation is next before the board. Ms. Dirk was issued a gaming employee occupation permit to work in the position of a cage cashier at Live Casino Pittsburgh. On September 15th, 2025, the Office of Enforcement Counsel filed a complaint for an emergency suspension of Ms. Dirk's permit after receiving notice that she had been criminally charged with felony and misdemeanor offenses. As a result of these charges, the board's executive director issued an emergency suspension suspending Ms. Dirk's permit. A hearing in this matter was held on October 29th, 2025. OEC appeared and presented evidence. Ms. Dirk also appeared pro se and testified on her own behalf. Evidence and testimony showed that Ms. Dirk allegedly took a washing machine, a dryer, and a stove out of a rental property she was leasing, and that she also damaged the property. During Ms. Dirk's testimony, she denied the allegations and indicated she would be going to trial on the criminal charges. She further stated that she does not want to lose her permit or the ability to work in casinos. Following the hearing, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that the emergency suspension of Ms. Dirk's permit remain in place given the pendency of felony criminal charges against her, and that's the recommendation before the board today.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board adopt the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and that the suspension of Emma Dirk's gaming employee occupation permit remain in effect.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Next before the board is Lan Schiffelbauer's report and recommendation. On May 9th, 2024, the Office of Enforcement Counsel filed a petition to place Lan Schiffelbauer on the board's involuntary exclusion list. After several continuances, 2 hearings were held in this matter. However, on both occasions, Ms. Schiffbauer failed to appear. Relevant evidence presented by the Office of Enforcement Counsel in this matter at the hearings showed that in addition to leaving her child unattended, on 2 other occasions in 2023, Ms. Schiffbauer cheated while gaming at Hollywood Casino at the Meadows, winning money she was not entitled to receive. She did make restitution in both of those instances, and no charges were filed against her. After the hearings, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that Ms. Schiffbauer be placed on the board's involuntary exclusion list, both for leaving her child unattended and on the cheating episodes. And that's the recommendation before the board today.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board adopt the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and that Lan Schiffbauer be placed on the board's involuntary exclusion list.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next 4 reports and recommendations pertain to petitions from self-excluded individuals requesting that monies confiscated from them be returned. In each case, the person was found to be gaming while still on the self-exclusion list. As the board is aware, when self-excluded persons are found in Pennsylvania casinos, the act dictates that any winnings possessed by that person can be confiscated from him or her and used to support compulsive and problem gambling programs. Because each of these persons were participants in the self-exclusion program, they're identified by their initials alone. The first report and recommendation regarding a request to recover funds confiscated while on the self-exclusion list pertains to an individual with the initials CC. By way of background, on November 30th, 2024, CC placed himself on the self-exclusion list for a 1-year period. On June 15th, 2025, CC entered Rivers Casino Pittsburgh, gamed, and when staff began to pay him out for certain winnings, it was determined that he was on the self-exclusion list, and $4,601.50 was confiscated from him. On June 17th, 2025, CC filed a petition requesting recovery of the monies confiscated from him, stating he believed he excluded himself from only interactive gaming. The Office of Enforcement Counsel filed an answer objecting to CC's request, in part stating that CC was in fact self-excluded from casino gaming. Nevertheless, OEC took the position that he was still entitled to recover $400 of the confiscated amount, stating that was the amount of his buy-in and was not reflective of winnings. A hearing in this matter was held on November 13th, 2025. Despite receiving proper notice, CC failed to appear. The Office of Enforcement Counsel did appear and presented evidence in support of its position, and following the hearing, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that CC's petition be granted and that $400 be returned to him. This matter is now ripe for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board adopt the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and that $400 be returned to CC. I further move this matter be placed under seal as it involves a self-excluded individual.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next report and recommendation before the board today stems from a request to recover funds confiscated from an individual with the initials DZ. The uncontested facts are that on June 15, 2011, DZ completed all of the necessary self-exclusion paperwork, choosing the one-year exclusion period, and acknowledged that he had to request removal after the one-year period in order to be removed from the list. On June 18, 2025, DZ appeared or entered the Rivers Casino Philadelphia and gamed prior to staff identifying him as a self-excluded person and confiscating $973 in chips. On June 20th, 2025, DZ filed his petition requesting that the monies confiscated from him be returned, stating that he was not told at the time of enrollment that he could not game at every casino in the state. In other words, he thought he was only excluded from one casino, and he also did not know that he had to request removal from his exclusion, from the exclusion list after the 1 year expired. Notwithstanding that assertion, it is noteworthy that approximately 1 month prior to the incident in question, DZ was actually found to be gaming at the Parks Casino and was charged with criminal trespass because he was identified as self-excluded. The hearing in this matter was held on November 5th, 2025. DZ failed to appear. OEC appeared and made a motion to dismiss DZ's petition, but acknowledged that DZ was owed $28 from the monies confiscated, as that was his buy-in amount. Thereafter, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that DZ's petition to recover funds be denied in total. The Office of Chief Counsel takes the position that it should be denied in part, but he should recover the $28, and this matter is now ripe for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board adopt in part the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel and grant in part DZ's petition to recover monies confiscated from him while on the self-exclusion list, and that $28 be returned to DZ. I further move that this matter be placed under seal as it involves a self-excluded individual.
Commissioner, oh my gosh, there we go. Floridan slip. Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds. 15
It's a
years.
transition time. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
J.O.'s report and recommendation is next before the board. On April 18th, 2025, J.O. filed a petition requesting recovery of funds confiscated from him. OEC filed an answer objecting in part to the request, and a hearing in this matter was held on October 29th, 2025. The Office of Enforcement Counsel and J.O. both appeared, putting evidence into the record. The evidence presented at the hearing showed that on January 2nd, 2012, J.O. met with an employee of the board's Bureau of Casino Compliance, filled out and signed the exclusion forms, choosing a 1 year self-exclusion period. On April 10th and 11th, 2025, J.O. was on the gaming floor at Wind Creek Bethlehem for over 7 hours and engaged in slots play, eventually winning a $1,604 jackpot. When he went to cash out the jackpot, J.O. was identified as self-excluded, and the jackpot, along with $49.25 in additional credits, were confiscated from him. J.O. testified that he placed himself on the list in 2012 because he had been losing money gambling, but that he did not have a gambling problem. He stated that he was told he would be excluded for 1 year and then could return to the casino, so he was surprised that 13 years later he was told he was trespassing. Following the hearing, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that J.O.'s request to recover monies be granted in part and that he be permitted to recover $49.25, the value of the credits remaining on the slot machine after his jackpot was confiscated, and this matter is now ripe for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that given the unique circumstances in this matter, the board reject the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel, and to grant J.O.'s petition to recover monies confiscated from him while on the self-exclusion list and that $1,653.25 be returned to JO. I further move that this matter be placed under seal as it involves a self-excluded individual.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
The final report and recommendation pertaining to confiscated funds involving a self-excluded individual, we still have one more after this, involves an individual with the initials WS. On February 12th, 2025, WS filed a petition requesting recovery of funds confiscated from him. OEC filed an answer objecting in part to the request, and a hearing in this matter was held on July 24th, 2025. Both Enforcement Counsel and WS appeared at the hearing and presented evidence. The evidence presented showed that on January 25th, 2024, an individual with the initials WS completed all the necessary self-exclusion paperwork, chose the one-year period of self-exclusion, and acknowledged that he had to request removal from the list after the 1 year expired. On February 6th, 2025, WS entered Hollywood Casino Penn National, gamed and won $1,447.50 on a slot machine. The jackpot amount, along with $699.30 in credits, were thereafter confiscated from WS as he was identified as self-excluded. During WS's testimony, he stated that OEC's testimony was accurate. He acknowledged that he was wrong and apologized. He further stated that he believed he'd removed himself from the list prior to going to Hollywood Casino that day, but that he must not have taken all of the necessary steps to do so online. WS also testified that he had previously been on the self-exclusion list and removed himself successfully, but did not recall how he did it. After hearing all the testimony and the evidence presented, a report and recommendation was issued recommending that WS's request to recover monies be granted in part and that he be permitted to recover the $699.30 identified not as jackpot but as buy-in, and this is the matter. This is right now for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board adopt the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel and grant, in part, WS's petition to recover monies confiscated from him while on the self-exclusion list, and that $699.30 be returned to WS. I further move that this matter be placed under seal as it involves a self-excluded individual.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Bobby Patton is the final report and recommendation before the board today. In June 2025, Mr. Patton filed a petition to recover funds confiscated from him by Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. The Office of Enforcement Counsel filed a petition or an answer objecting to the request. A hearing in this matter was held on November 4th, 2025. OEC and Mr. Patton both appeared presenting evidence. The evidence presented at the hearing showed that on October 4th, 2019, the board issued an order placing Mr. Patton on the exclusion list. Then in 2025, Mr. Patton filed a petition requesting removal from the exclusion list, and the board issued an order on May 21st, 2025, granting that request. Specifically, the board's order stated that Mr. Patton's name was to be removed from the board's exclusion list effective May 30th, 2025, so as it could work its way through the system and all the operators could be notified of the removal. On May 27th, 2025, the board removed Mr. Patton's name from the website. Mr. Patton testified that since his name no longer appeared on the website after he checked repeatedly, he believed he was permitted to game at the casino even though it was not yet May 30th. On May 29th, 2025, Mr. Patton entered Live Philadelphia, gamed, and when he attempted to cash out, casino staff informed him that he was excluded until May 30th, 2025, the following day, and confiscated $5,259, $3,259 of which was winnings. Mr. Patton stated during his testimony that he believed he could gamble because his name was removed from the board's publicly available exclusion list effective May 27th. After hearing all of the evidence and testimony, the hearing officer issued a report and recommendation recommending that Mr. Patton be permitted to recover the full amount of monies confiscated from him, or as an alternative, at least be allowed to receive his buy-in amount of $2,000, and this matter is now ripe for the board's consideration.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board reject the report and recommendation issued by the Office of Hearings and Appeals as described by the Office of Chief Counsel and grant in part Bobby Patton's petition to recover monies confiscated from him while on an involuntary exclusion list, and that $2,000 be returned to Bobby Patton.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
That concludes the matters of the Office of Chief Counsel. Before I stand up, I'd like to welcome Maria to the board and offer Frank best wishes. It's been a great 5 years. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We will now have the Bureau of Licensing matters presented by the Director of the Bureau of Licensing, Sean Hannon. Sean.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Welcome, Commissioner. Good morning, Madam Chair. Today's first licensing matter for your consideration is the renewal of a slot machine manufacturer license for Count R GmbH. The company is licensed in Pennsylvania and is in good standing as a slot machine and table game manufacturer. Under the Gaming Act, the board may use an abbreviated process to consider the application of a currently licensed manufacturer. The Bureau of Licensing, Office of Enforcement Counsel, and the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement has reviewed the application for a slot machine manufacturer license for Count R GmbH, and I have provided you with the results of that review. I provide you with a draft order and ask the board consider the order to renew the slot machine manufacturer license for Count R GmbH.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board grant the slot machine manufacturer license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
The next licensing matter for your consideration is the approval of an interactive gaming manufacturer license for PDX Slots LLC. Formed in 2023, its principal place of business is Detroit, Michigan. PDX Slots LLC develops and distributes online gaming content to online casino operators and interactive gaming operators in the Commonwealth. The Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement has completed its investigation, and the Bureau of Licensing has provided you with a background investigation and suitability report. I provided you with a draft order and ask that you consider the order to approve PDX Slots LLC for an interactive gaming manufacturer license.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board grant the interactive gaming manufacturer license as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next is the video gaming terminal operator license renewal for Django Entertainment LLC, doing business as Django Entertainment. The company was formed in 2018, and its principal place of business is in Sugar Notch, Pennsylvania. The company intends to maintain and operate video game terminals on the premises of VGT establishment licensees in Pennsylvania. The Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement has completed its investigation of the company, and the Bureau of Licensing has provided you with a background investigation and suitability report. I provide you with a draft order and ask the board consider the order to renew the video gaming terminal operator license for Django Entertainment LLC.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal operator license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Oh, thank you, Sarah. All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Also for consideration is a conditional video gaming terminal operator license for Gold Rush Gaming LLC. A video gaming terminal operator owns, services, or maintains VGTs for placement and operation on the premises of truck stop establishments. A VGT terminal operator is eligible for conditional licensure if the applicant has not been convicted of a felony, is current on state taxes, has submitted a completed application, and has not had a similar denial or revocation, and has not been convicted of a gaming law violation. A preliminary review of this applicant indicates that they meet this criteria. I provide you with a draft order and ask the board consider the order to approve the conditional video gaming terminal operator license for Gold Rush Gaming LLC.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal operator conditional license as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
In addition, we have consideration of 6 video gaming terminal establishment license renewals. The locations being presented today include Geneva Truck Stop LLC and 5 Raceway Management Company Incorporated, doing business as Onvo Mifflinville, Onvo Goldsboro, Onvo Mifflin Town, Onvo Mount Cobb, and Onvo Duncannon. The Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement has now completed its investigation, and the Bureau of Licensing has provided you with background investigations and suitability reports for each. I've provided you with draft orders and asked the board first consider the order to renew the video gaming terminal establishment license for Geneva Truck Stop LLC, located at 17458 Smock Drive in Cockrakton.
Enforcement Counsel?
I was wondering if Sean pronounced that location.
Did I pronounce it all right?
It was close enough.
Close enough.
Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next is the order to renew the license for Raceway Management Company doing business as Onvo Mifflinville, located at 451 West 3rd Street in Mifflinville.
Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next is the order to renew the license for Raceway Management Company Incorporated doing business as Onvo Goldsboro, located at 17 Main Street in Goldsboro.
Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Also, the order to renew the license for Raceway Management Company Incorporated, doing business as Onvo Mifflin Town, located at 9 Stop Plaza Drive in Mifflin Town.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Next, the order to renew the license for Raceway Management Company Incorporated, doing business as Onvo Mount Cobb, located at 1174 Mount Cobb Road in Lake Ariel.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, the order to renew the license for Raceway Management Company Incorporated, doing business as Onvo Duncannon, located at 3298 Susquehanna Trail in Duncannon.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board grant the video gaming terminal establishment license renewal as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next, there are principal, key employee, and qualifier licenses. The Bureau of Licensing provided you with a proposed order for 16 principals, 10 key employees, and 5 qualifiers. I ask that the board consider the order approving these licenses.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board grant the principal, key employee, and qualifier licenses as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
There are also principal and key employee temporary credentials. The Bureau of Licensing provided you with an order regarding the issuance of temporary credentials for 7 principals and 14 key employees. I ask that the board consider the order approving these credentials.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board grant the temporary principal and key employee credentials as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Additionally, for your consideration are gaming employee permits and non-gaming employee registrations. The Bureau of Licensing provided you with a list of 472 individuals to whom the Bureau has granted temporary or full occupation permits, and 240 individuals to whom the Bureau has granted registrations under the authority delegated to the Bureau of Licensing. I ask that the board consider a motion approving the order.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board approve the applications for gaming employee occupation permits and non-gaming employee registrations as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez is seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Next, there is a recommendation of denial for 2 non-gaming and 2 gaming applicants. The Bureau of Licensing has provided you with the order addressing the applicants who the Office of Enforcement Counsel has recommended for denial. I ask that the board consider the order approving these denials.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel continues to request denial in each matter.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board deny the gaming and non-gaming employee applications as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
The next matter for consideration is withdrawal requests. In each case, the license, permit, or registration is no longer required. For today's meeting, I have provided the board 1 key employee, 12 gaming, and 32 non-gaming applicants. I ask that the board consider the orders approving these withdrawals.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board grant the withdrawal of key employees, gaming and non-gaming employee applications as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Finally, for consideration are gaming service provider registrations. The Bureau of Licensing provided you with an order and an attached list of 4 registered gaming service provider applicants. I ask that the board consider the order registering these gaming service providers.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no objection.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board approve the gaming service provider registrations as described by the Bureau of Licensing.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Just want to say thank you for Commissioner Dermody. Thank you for your years of government service, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Next is the Office of Enforcement Counsel. Cyrus
Good morning.
Petrie.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Commissioner Dermody, I'll get to you. The Office of Enforcement Counsel will present 22 matters today for the board's consideration, in which we will request approval of 22 involuntary exclusions. The remaining matters on the agenda consist of enforcement actions in which the Office of Enforcement Counsel filed petitions seeking the involuntary exclusion of individuals who are inimical to the interests of the Commonwealth and are licensed gaming therein. In each instance, the petition for exclusion has been filed with the Board's Office of Hearings and Appeal and properly served upon the individual named in the petition. The individual named in each petition failed to respond within 30 days, as required by Board regulation. As a result, the Office of Enforcement Counsel filed a request for default judgment in each instance and properly served the same upon each individual. Therefore, all facts in each petition are deemed admitted, all filed documents have been provided to the Board, and the matters are presently ripe for the Board's consideration. In each instance, if the Board orders the proposed exclusion, each individual's photo, personal identifiers, and a summary of their inimical conduct may be placed on the Board's public website. In each matter, we will provide a brief summary of the facts and make a request for the appropriate board action.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Juan Sanchez, S-A-N-C-H-E-Z, Assistant Enforcement Counsel with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Angela Adams on the board's involuntary interactive gaming exclusion list. In addition to their own accounts, Angela Adams and another individual created and/or fraudulently accessed 23 BetMGM accounts and Borgata accounts with their personal identifying information of other individuals to receive and wager $6,887.21 in bonuses. Subsequently, she failed or refused to pay funds owed to the casinos as a result of her gaming activity. All of the accounts were closed and the devices used were blocked and were no criminal charges filed. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests the board place Angela Adams on the board's involuntary interactive gaming exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the addition of Angela Adams to the PGCB Involuntary Interactive Gaming Exclusion List for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Again, Juan Sanchez with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Tashona Mozan on the board's involuntary exclusion list. Tashona Mozan and another individual left 2 6-year-old children and a 12-year-old child unattended in the Hollywood Casino York parking lot for approximately 29 minutes while she gamed inside the casino. Hollywood Casino York banned Ms. Mazan from their property. Law enforcement was contacted but did not file criminal charges as a result of this incident. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests the board place Tashona Mazan on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Tashona Mazown to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Again, Juan Sanchez with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda is a request to place my no on the board's involuntary exclusion list. Wind Creek Bethlehem Casino involuntarily terminated the employment of a table game dealer because the table game dealer colluded with or otherwise allowed patron my no to cheat by capping and pitching wagers in 61 instances. Ms. No had a total of $89,745 in ill-gotten gains due to the dealer collusion. The Pennsylvania State Police filed criminal charges against my no, which remain pending. Wind Creek Bethlehem has not received restitution to date and permanently evicted Ms. No. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests the board place my no on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board approve the addition of my no to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Morning, Madam Chair, and members of the board. Michael Rowland, ROL A&D with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Francisco Apezi-Guedes on the involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Apezi-Guedes was observed attempting to abduct a 10-year-old child at the Landing Hotel at Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh. He first attempted to persuade the child to come with him before grabbing the child's clothing and trying to abduct the child forcefully. The child escaped to her mother. Mr. Apezi-Guedes was apprehended and criminally charged with interference with custody of children, defiant trespass, harassment, and public drunkenness for his actions. The charges remain pending. He was permanently evicted from the casino property. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Francisco Apezi-Guedes on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board approve the addition of Francisco Apezi-Guedes to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Good morning, Chair Smiler, members of the board. Dustin Miller on behalf of the Office of Enforcement Counsel, MILLER. The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is the petition to place Chien Cheng on the involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Cheng left her 10-year-old son alone in a hotel room at Wind Creek Bethlehem Casino while she went to the gaming floor and engaged in gaming activity. The child was discovered after the child left the hotel room and went down to the Wind Creek hotel lobby using the elevator. Ms. Cheng was on the gaming floor for over 3.5 hours, and the child was unattended during that time. Wind Creek issued Ms. Cheng a permanent eviction. No criminal charges were filed. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requested the board place Chien Cheng on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board approve the addition of Chien Chang to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is the petition to place Yanina Ruiz on the involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Ruiz left a 10-year-old minor alone in the bus lobby of Wind Creek Bethlehem Casino while she was inside gaming. The child was discovered by security while he was sitting alone in the bus lobby. Ms. Ruiz was away from the minor for approximately 30 minutes. Wind Creek issued Ms. Ruiz a permanent eviction. No criminal charges were filed. This time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requested the board place Yanina Ruiz on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the addition of Yanina Ruiz to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next matter on the agenda for board consideration is the petition to place Cody Eckenrode on the involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Eckenrode removed a voucher worth $703.24 that belonged to another patron from a slot machine at Hollywood Casino York. Mr. Eckenrode was criminally charged for his actions. He was also evicted from Hollywood Casino York. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Cody Eckenrode on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Cody Eckenrode to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Raymond Fields on the involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Fields picked up $2,800 in cash from the gaming floor at Rivers Casino Pittsburgh, which belonged to another patron, and immediately left the casino. Mr. Fields was criminally convicted of felony theft related to this incident and permanently evicted from Rivers Casino Pittsburgh. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests that the board place Raymond Fields on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board approve the addition of Raymond Edward Fields III to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Arlisa Lynn on the board's involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Lynn cheated while playing Spanish 21 at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia by past posting wagers on multiple dates. The total loss to Live was $135. Ms. Lynn was criminally charged with theft of services, and Live permanently banned her from the property for this behavior. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Arlisa Lynn on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Arlisa Lynn to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Kelsey Scarrato, SCIRROTTO, Assistant Enforcement Counsel with the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Aaron Gohl on the board's interactive gaming involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Gohl created interactive gaming accounts on Play Live Casino and Bet Parks interactive gaming platforms. Mr. Gohl deposited money into those accounts and wagered through the funds. Subsequently, Mr. Gohl failed or refused to pay $9,285 that he owed to Play Live Casino and Bet Parks as a result of his gaming activity, thereby depriving the Commonwealth of tax revenue owed on this amount. Mr. Gohl's account was frozen by Bet Parks and suspended by Play Live Casino. No criminal charges were filed. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Aaron Gohl on the interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board approve the addition of Aaron Gold to the PGCB involuntary interactive gaming exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Scott Mayer on the board's interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list. Mr. Mayer created an interactive gaming account on the Play Sugar House Casino interactive gaming platform. Mr. Mayer deposited at least $5,500 into that account and wagered through those funds. Subsequently, Mr. Mayer failed or refused to pay funds that he owed to Play Sugar House as a result of this gaming activity, thereby depriving the Commonwealth of tax revenue. Mr. Mayer's account was locked by Play Sugar House Casino. No criminal charges were filed. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Scott Mayer on the interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board approve the addition of Scott Meyer to the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board's involuntary interactive gaming exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Tiffany Mazloum on the board's interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list. Tiffany Mazloum created 14 fraudulent accounts on the Unibet interactive gaming platform using the personal identifying information of other individuals. All of the accounts were suspended. No criminal charges were filed. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Tiffany Mazloum on the interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the addition of Tiffany Mazloum to the PGCB involuntary interactive exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next matter on the agenda for the board's consideration is a request to place Zachary Pounds on the board's interactive gaming and voluntary exclusion list. Zachary Pounds created 9 fraudulent accounts on the BetMGM interactive gaming platform using the personal identifying information of other individuals. All of the accounts were closed and all devices were blocked. No criminal charges were filed. The Office of Enforcement Counsel now requests that the board place Zachary Pounds on the interactive gaming involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Zachary Pounds to the PGCB involuntary interactive exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
Dustin Miller, once again on behalf of the Office of Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Judea Green on the involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Green was present at Parks Casino when she left a 9-year-old child unattended in her vehicle when she entered the gaming floor to place a sports wager and engage in table game play. Ms. Green was away from the vehicle for approximately 57 minutes. As a result of her actions, she was permanently evicted from Parks Casino, but was not criminally charged for her actions. This time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requested the board place Judea Green on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board approve the addition of Judea Green to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Andrea Roberts, ROBERTS, Assistant Enforcement Counsel. The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Hiam Kramarenko on the involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Kramarenko was previously employed as a table games dealer at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. While employed, Ms. Kramarenko willfully, improperly dealt blackjack on 5 separate dates, causing a loss to the casino. Live terminated Ms. Kramarenko's employment. Ms. Kramarenko was criminally charged for her actions. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Hiam Kramarenko on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board approve the addition of E.M. Kamarenko to the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board's involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Jamie Smith on the involuntary exclusion list. Ms. Smith was previously employed as a table games dealer at Rivers Pittsburgh Casino. While employed, Ms. Smith willfully and improperly dealt blackjack on 5 separate dates, causing a loss to the casino and depriving the Commonwealth of tax revenue. Rivers terminated Ms. Smith's employment. Ms. Smith was criminally charged for her actions. Ms. Smith's gaming employee occupation permit has been previously revoked by the board. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Jamie Smith on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board approve the addition of Jamie Smith to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The next matter on the agenda is a request to place Henry Yee on the involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Yee was previously employed as a table game supervisor at Rivers Philadelphia Casino. Mr. Yee entered false player ratings for a patron later identified as his sister, while the patron was not present at the table. Rivers terminated Mr. Yee's employment. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Henry Yee on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves that the board reject OVC's request for the addition of Henry Yee to the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board's involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
The next 5 matters on the agenda are related on our request to place Jentan Chen, Zulio, Ruyet Tao, Leo, and Qinyong Zhang on the involuntary exclusion list. With the board's permission, I will read one set of facts and then request each individual be placed on the involuntary exclusion list. Mr. Chen, Mr. Liu, Ms. Tao, Ms. Yu, and Mr. Zhang were present at Wind Creek Bethlehem Casino and played baccarat. On 13 occasions, a member of the group was observed fanning the corner of the brick of cards while cutting the deck. On 7 of these occasions, a cell phone was confirmed to be pointing at the deck when the cards were fanned. On 6 of the compromised baccarat chews, members of the group were observed making large wagers for the same outcome of each hand. Wind Creek permanently banned them from the property. Mr. Zhang was criminally charged for his actions. At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Jentan Chen on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dillon moves that the board approve the addition of Zhengken Chen to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dunbar seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is adopted.
At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Zulio on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Zhu Liu to the addition of Zhu Liu to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Huffman seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is adopted.
At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Ruyet Tao on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Huffman moves that the board approve the addition of Ryu Tao to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Dillon seconds.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion is adopted.
At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Li Yo on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dunbar moves that the board approve the addition of Li Yo to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Commissioner Quinones Sanchez seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's adopted.
At this time, the Office of Enforcement Counsel requests the board place Qinyong Zhang on the involuntary exclusion list.
Any questions or comments? May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Quinones Sanchez moves that the board approve the addition of Qingyong Zhang to the PGCB involuntary exclusion list for the conduct described by the Enforcement Council.
Commissioner Dermody seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Commissioner Dermody, I don't know if you remember this, and I doubt you do. But back in the summer of 2010 or 11, see, I can't even remember, Paul Morrow and I went around the Capitol visiting with different legislatures, members of the General Assembly. You probably don't remember because my hair was all black at the time, and Paul Morrow actually had hair at the time. But nevertheless, you pledged to do everything you could in your power to help us to make sure that the agency was a success. And I want to tell you, over the years, you kept that pledge. And once you came to the board, you provided us with even more support. So I want to say that I personally am appreciative. My staff is appreciative. And on behalf of BIE and OEC, we'd like to thank you for all your support over the years.
Sarge, thank you very much. And I remember you were in the office, absolutely. But no, thank you. That's very, very nice. I appreciate it.
Do you remember his hair was black?
Well, I had white hair then, too. Though.
That concludes our matters. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. The last item on the agenda today is public comment. Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the board? Seeing no one, that concludes today's meeting. The next public meeting of the board will be held on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, at 10 a.m. at this location. And now, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Dermody moves to adjourn.
Commissioner
last
Dillon
one.
seconds.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion's adopted. Your final act is to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.